Governor Newsom and Republican challenger Newsom-Dahle have wrapped up their first and only debate ahead of Election Day, just 2 weeks from Tuesday. And polls show the governor with a commanding lead with just 16 days to go.
Yeah, the two men sparred today on a number of different issues, especially inflation and gas prices as well. We're joined today by Mindy Romero. She's a political sociologist from USC School of Public Policy. Mindy, you watched the debate or listened to it at least. Either one of these candidates impress you today?
I don't know if it's really about that, to be honest. I mean, I think the Republican challenger did his best to try to hold himself up in a high-profile race. Some of his answers, I think, aside from the substance, maybe just the quality and the delivery of the answers show his lack of experience. But overall, I mean, this really was Gavin Newsom's debate to not lose, but basically to avoid any potential damage for his future political aspirations. And I don't think we saw anything like that.
Mindy, how big of a deal is going to be the fact that most people don't know who Mr. Dahle is?
That's huge, right? So unless there was a complete meltdown on the part of Governor Newsom, this debate is essentially inconsequential. It's important for our democratic process. People should pay attention. People should learn about the candidates, especially if they're voting in the election. But we know the numbers are heavily in favor of Gavin Newsom, and he has a challenger that was never really fully viable in terms of his name recognition, in terms of money, in terms of his past political experience. So there we go.
Mindy, it's Mary Beth here. Two big problems here are gas prices right now, and of course homelessness. So we've heard a lot from Newsom about these issues. What about Dahle? What did he say as far as bringing gas prices down and trying to solve this homeless crisis, which has gotten worse with each passing year?
Sure.
Certainly. He did hit Newsom hard, or at least attempted to, on both issues. I think on gas prices, there was some pushback actually from the moderators asking him to explain some of his policy prescriptions. Most notably, when he said, we were going to make, or California was going to make, the savings pass on if we eliminate at least some of the gas taxes, make the refineries and such, right, the gas industry essentially pass it on to consumers, and he had a difficult time explaining just exactly how that would work. And again, the moderators played a role in kind of really pushing back and highlighting that for listeners in terms of maybe not being a really full answer.
Mindy, hang on for just a second. We want to play a soundbite here. Both of the candidates talking about the economy. Take a listen.
Californians are suffering from the cost of living in California.
California is suffering from high inflation, and that's why we've provided $18.5 billion in tax rebates, which you opposed.
Okay. Mindy, a lot of finger pointing today. I mean, how did you feel that they did about, that issue right there? I mean, it doesn't seem like Newsom or Dahle really gave us any sort of answers how we can get out of this financial crisis that we're in.
Agreed. And again, I think on the part of Dahle at least, he wasn't well resourced. He isn't a really strong candidate in terms of his political networks. Many would argue even in terms of his specific policy prescriptions and how he's actually able to deliver those. So I think maybe with a stronger challenge, with all due respect to the Republican challenger, but with a stronger Republican representative, we might have had a more robust conversation. In the end, the election results will be the same, but again, for the democratic process, right, informing voters, I think we saw a lot of differences between these two candidates. We know there are differences, but probably not a lot of satisfactory answers. And again, that's also on Newsom's part as well, because of where he kind of comes into this debate at.
All right. Mindy Romero, we appreciate you joining us. We'll talk to you a bit later on.